What's up, everybody? Welcome to Coach Kirb Sports Report Off the Prairie with Bergie. And I am joined tonight by my Thursday night co-host from now on, I hope, Grant Bergman, who is former pitcher at Oklahoma State University, also threw an 11-inning complete game in American Legion Baseball that I witnessed and was an awesome sight to see. Also is a junior college national champion at Cowley County Community College, right, Grant? Not junior college.
I didn't know I was going to get all the accolades this season.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. I appreciate you being here. But anyway, Grant's going to be joining us on Thursday night for this show. We're going to tell you a little bit about the program and what to look forward to, but I'm going to let Grant do the rest of his introduction. This is Grant Bergman.
Hey, I appreciate you, Coach Kirb, for letting me jump on with you, and I think we're a lot alike in that we just love sports. We love talking sports, and by no means am I an expert in any one thing or the other. I enjoy, just like you can see right behind me, I can enjoy throwing that TV on and seeing people compete at the highest level, and it's something I just I've always grown up with, and so being around Kirb and his family growing up, they are the same way, and so the opportunity presents itself, and I jumped on board because. It's something that I felt like, just like you, Coach, this could be kind of cool. So thank you for having me. But, yeah, I did grow up. I grew up an Army brat, Fort Sill, Lawton, Oklahoma, and went to junior college, played baseball in OSU, of course. And I moved down to Texas in 2002, and I've been here ever since. So, happy to be here, Coach. I appreciate you. And hopefully I won't say the wrong thing to offend any of your followers out there in Coach Kirby land.
I am not worried about that at all. And Grant is an Oklahoma State grad, and he is going to bring an Oklahoma State take to this show. So, and I'm still going to hit on the OU stuff. So, hey, we got to get Bedlam football going again. Not to get off on that tangent, but we got to get that rolling again. And honestly, how this came about, just to let everybody know, I did my first YouTube short on last Saturday from the OU spring game, and went to the game and watched the spring game. I'm sitting out waiting to go into the baseball game, and I get a text from Grant telling me he could jump on any time and talk about pro sports and the Thunder and not the Mavericks, the Thunder, the Buffalo Bills, the Toronto Blue Jays. And I said, and it got me to thinking. So I texted him the next day, Sunday, I believe it was. I said, hey, how about jumping on Thursdays and doing a show? And he was ready to do it. Asked, what equipment do I need? So here we are. So I'm excited about it.
And don't lie, Coach Kirb. I also said, hey, did you know OSU just had their spring game? And he was like, no, I had no idea. And I think you speak for a lot of people because that program has pretty much fallen off the face of the earth. But we're going to try to dig ourselves out of it starting this year. And I'll give you a little update about that here in a little bit.
Yeah, I had no idea. I saw nothing about it. But honestly, I listened to Sports Talk and, Sooner Sports Talk, but they talk about Oklahoma State all the time, and I just haven't been keeping up with that. I need to fix that if I'm going to be doing this show. But anyway, we've talked a little bit about it. We're going to talk about pro sports. We're just, like Grant said, we're two guys who love sports and don't expect perfection coming out of this. Not to expect perfection coming out of Monday night show, because I'm far from that, and some of y'all's already seen that. But we do have some opinions, and we're going to have fun with this. So we're going to jump right into the NFL draft. Again, we're not Mel Kiper. We're not any of those guys, but we're going to give our thoughts on it. We are going to critique Mel Kiper, though, here shortly when it comes to the Bills and Cowboys. But first of all, just Grant, what do you think? What do you think about the draft?
Well, I mean, the scene, right, was pretty cool. My brother actually works in Pittsburgh, and he did say, like, he's just going to stay inside for 3 straight days because they were expecting 700,000 people. And kudos to that city. That's a cool sports town. That's a great part of the country as far as that's concerned. And I enjoyed it. They put on a good show, and Western Pennsylvania should be proud of how that all went down.
Yeah, I thought the scene was awesome. I thought it was interesting. Melissa, my wife, and I were talking about whenever a guy would get introduced, he had to walk like a mile to get to the stage. It seemed like he walked forever.
Hey, that's a great point, and kudos to Melissa on that. But, yeah, how long can that walk be? Like, at some point,
Golly.
can I get an Uber or a Segway or
Yeah,
something?
exactly.
But by the time, you're right, by the time the most recent draft pick, got his new hat and then took a few photos and high-fived everybody, got to the commissioner, the next team had like 3 minutes left on the clock. So it was like, maybe that's the point. I don't know. But, yeah, good point.
Well, and it is better that I like the 8 minutes. It used to be back in the day 15 minutes between each pick.
Oh, that's
and
right.
That would extend to 16 and 17 minutes because the commissioner had to get the you got to give time for the commissioner to get booed too. So, I mean, I wonder how Roger Goodell feels. He gets booed like every year. I don't even know what is the point of that now. I don't get it.
Because anytime that one of their players gets suspended for something, and of course he makes, I don't know what last check, it's over $40 million a year. So it's okay. He can take the booze and he actually plays it up. He call it, hey, I bring it on, but not the most favorite person in the world, but I guess it's lonely at the top. So good for him.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's jump into Mel Kiper's grades. We're not, like I said, we're going to only focus on Cowboys and not only focus, but our lean is going to be Cowboys and Bills. And we got a graphic here we're going to put up so you can see what we're looking at here. Grant, you go first. What do you think about the grade he gave the Buffalo Bills?
That's that would be a B minus. Would you confirm that for me, Kirb? I don't have that stat sheet right in front of me yet.
It is a B minus.
B minus. Yes. Here's why I think he's right on. Here's the problem with my team, the Buffalo Bills, is they don't draft well early. You know what I mean? First of all, they did have a first-round pick. They did trade down 3 times to get into the second and third round, but that actually, to me, was a smart move just because, as the team is pressing for, Super Bowl appearances, which they've yet to have in this Josh Allen era. It was good to kind of get more picks and get some younger bodies on that roster, but they just don't. I don't know why. Other than Josh Allen and of course James Cook, they seem to not do well, especially on the defensive side of the ball early. So they drop out of the first round, but I really like their 4th round wide receiver Skylar Bell out of UConn. You talk about production level. That kid apparently, and you're not talking to a UConn guy, obviously, or anybody in that part of the country, but apparently his numbers and his production level was really high. And now he's not a big guy, 5'11" and 3/4, has a little speed to him. And I heard some people compare him to, a kind of a slot, guy. And that's, some people would say, why are they drafting another slot guy? Well, he can play both. But in all honesty, yes, the Bills could use a number one, and they got one, DJ Moore, out of free agency, but their defense is what the problem has been. I mean, they went to Denver and put 30 on the board and had 5 turnovers. And it's easy for people on the outside to say, hey, they need wide receiver, they need number one. But they need better defensive players. That's really where it was. So I like the B minus to answer your question. Lots of good. There's a safety out of South Carolina. There's the Caleb. Let me look at his name real quick. Elam's Orr, linebacker out of TCU. Being a Big 12 country, he's a gamer. He's a player. He's not Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, but looks like they got some athletic guys. But if they would start that maybe in round 1, round 2 a little bit more, then maybe you get some immediate impact guys. What is your thoughts on America's team there, Hig?
Well, their grade, Mel Kiper gave the Cowboys an A. I'm really reluctant to agree with anything that Jerry Jones did. I think they did a good job. I do. The first pick, drafting up to get Caleb Downs out of Ohio State, if I could have picked one guy for them to get in that draft, because Lord knows they needed defensive players. If their defense, in my opinion, if their defense last year would have been average, they're in the playoffs. I'm not saying they would have won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Their offense was awesome. They had put up big-time numbers on offense, but they also gave up a lot of points. They gave up, I don't know what the crazy stat was, over 35 points in a certain amount. It was terrible. It's terrible. But they got Caleb Downs. That dude is a baller. Ohio State complains about that 11 a.m. game, but I like the 11 a.m. game because it doesn't conflict with whenever OU is going to play. So –
Hey, but when they're in the Big 12, they were always the 11 o'clock game, right? Isn't that part of the problem?
I'm not going to complain about that because I don't want to sound like Lincoln Riley.
That's okay. That's fair.
I don't want to sound like Muleshoe. But anyway, no, Caleb Downs, his numbers speak for himself. He's considered by a lot to be the best defensive player in the draft. I mean, the dude is good.
It's hard to argue that. Yep.
Yeah, Malachi Lawrence, the edge rusher out of UCF. Again, they filled a need, and they traded. The funny thing is, they traded after they were supposed to have pick 20, and they traded with the Eagles of all teams. First of all, to get Caleb Downs, they traded 2 5th-round picks. But then they traded with Philly later for 2 4th-round picks. So they actually traded 2 5s to get 2 4s. Maybe is somebody talking to Jerry Jones? Because I know he didn't make these decisions. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on Jerry.
Yeah, hey, every once in a while, man, just give him his credit, and maybe he deserves it this time. Because I agree, I'm not a Cowboys guy. I do, my wife and everybody around here, big Cowboys fans, but it's hard to argue for me how I think they did really well for the draft. So good for them.
Yeah, they did, and they drafted the 4th pick. They drafted their obligatory offensive tackle that they seem to draft every year, guy out of Penn State, and then Brian Schottenheimer made his normal Florida pick by drafting. Who was the guy he got out of Florida? I lost my place there. Oh, Devin Moore, the cornerback out of Florida. He was, he's a player. Now he's a 4th-round pick, and then they got LT Overton. When that first popped up, I was thinking left tackle, but I forgot the guy that plays for Alabama, defensive end, and he can play both defensive end and tackle. So they address needs. I agree with the A grade. Some people don't, and made me think, maybe I'm drinking the silver and blue Kool-Aid on that. I don't know, but I think the A was well deserved.
Well, when it comes to other teams, let's take the Cowboys and the Bills out of it. Like, any of those grades surprise you?
Well, you and I talked off camera a while ago that the Browns got an A, but the Browns are used to picking pretty high, so they've got that they've got the draft down pretty well. The Eagles had a really good draft; they got an A. The Jets got the A. According to Next Gen Stats, which we'll talk about here in a second.
That's right.
The Jets and the Browns had the top two drafts, and then the Eagles were third. The rest of them, no. I mean,
who did Mel have at the very bottom?
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Well, there's a 3-way tie for a C with the Vikings, Jaguars, and the 49ers.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was McShay or some other channel or whatever that they were not happy with what the Jaguars did. So I don't know too much details on that, but I think that seems to be a pattern is people think the Jaguars reached mightily to get their picks. So,
yeah, Green Bay was pretty low. Denver was pretty low. The Commanders, they got a bit. They're at a B. I'm looking at the Cowboys divisional opponents now. I don't know where the Giants ended up. Did they? I don't think they maybe they didn't have a 1st-round pick because they're not on the list.
Yeah,
they
right.
are. Yeah, they are. They got a B+.
That's right.
So, not really many shocking surprises. Did you have a surprise pick of the draft?
Other than the Bills taking a punter in round 6.
I thought of you when I saw that.
Hey, I mean, at some point, and maybe this is another discussion another time, but is there too many rounds in the NFL draft? Is 7 too many? I've heard several people on different platforms say, like, maybe we need to start looking at, because, I mean, there were people that were picked. I don't know if that's the NFL. There's a program right there where it promotes international NFL players. I mean, I think there was somebody picked that's never even played college football. And, take punters and kickers and people that's never played before. Like, once again, Coach Kirb, maybe it's another time, another show, another episode. But surprises, oh, man. No, I think actually there was a quarterback. Who took the quarterback early? There's a 13th pick. What was the pick?
Same thing I am. The Rams picking Ty Simpson out of Alabama. That shocked me. I'm fixing to brag a little bit. Me and my cousin went to Tuscaloosa for the OU Alabama game this year, and he had 3 turnovers in that game. Now, he looked great in the playoff game, but I don't know why I brought that up against OU, but and then I saw him against Indiana the next week, and he was not good. But Sean McVay is a quarterback whisperer, so
there's something there. He obviously the draw there for McVay and company was what happened off the field, right? Those interviews are big. I'm sure he got great references from the Alabama staff, and for him to be taken at that point, a little bit of a surprise there. But McVay's maybe looked bad before too with some decisions. So he's obviously a savant with football. So I'll have to kind of wait and see what their takes are on that, especially if Stafford gets hurt and a kid comes in there and turns into Tom Brady. I'll have to eat some crow.
A savant, that's a good word.
Thanks, Kirk.
You bet. No, that shocked me when they picked him. But like you mentioned, Stafford, he's getting older, and bring him in there and let him learn under him, and who knows what he could be. Like you said, he may turn into look back to what Brock Purdy did at San Francisco, being the Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft.
Fun fact: I went to an OSU football game, and they were playing Iowa State, and some kid got hurt, and in comes this freshman nobody's heard of named Brock Purdy, and he wore the pokes out. I sat there and just wanted to punch myself in the face because I was like, who's this guy, and why is he torching us? And it was the first time he's ever played college football, so I've got some fond memories of Brock Purdy.
Well, my fond memory of him is I can't remember who the OU player, Jalen Redmond, absolutely destroyed him on Owen Field one day, and I don't know how he didn't get a targeting penalty, but he probably should have. But it put Brock Purdy out of the game. Not that I'm glad to put him out of the game, but when I heard Brock Purdy, I'm like, oh, that's the dude that got obliterated by Jalen Redmond in the Iowa State game.
Core memories.
Yeah, definitely. But no, overall, we talk about Cowboys and Bills, and you mentioned your Bills had not been to a Super Bowl. Grant,
Thanks.
I believe when was the last? What I'm getting at, when was the last time the Bills played in an AFC Championship game?
No, they played against the Chiefs. What was it, 5 years ago? They've played in 1, 2, but it's either been a loss in the AFC Championship, I think twice, and then divisional round like 4 or 5 times. Like they're fine in the wild card game. Like we set the standard. But let's just give some credit though. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they've been pretty good. He's pretty good. So tip your hat there. But
they're good.
But there was one of those, and I feel the same way about the Bills in their 4 Super Bowl runs. That first one, we were the better team. We missed a field goal. Of course, we have Belichick and Parcells just running the ball down the throats, milk on the clock. Great formula, good for them. But same thing with the Bills is that overtime game at Arrowhead, and where he just torched them, and we had 13 seconds left, and I was borderline about to have a meltdown, and then 2 big passes and Butker 6-yard field goal at the gun. I'm just like, holy cow, this is what the Bills do. This is who they are, man. And it's been tough. Me. That's the one I feel like I may be looking back, at my own funeral and thinking that was the one. That was the chance we had, because I truly believe we were the best team in not just the AFC that year, but in the NFL. And you'll never know. We'll just never know.
I was sitting here watching that game. I thought seriously about texting you when it was over, but I thought, no,
that would.
I better not. I better not do that, because I might get cussed out or something. But anyway, what I was getting at a while ago, what the Bills lost to the Cowboys the second time, 93. Okay.
I think 90, because 91 was the actual first one, so 92, 93, 94, 93, 94.
So the 94 Super Bowl, 93 season.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cowboys lost in the championship game the next year, won the Super Bowl the next year. That was 1995. This is 2026, right?
That's the year I graduated.
Thank you. Ask me how many NFC Championship games the Cowboys have played in since 1996.
Coach Kirb, how many NFC Championship games have the Cowboys played in since 1996?
The same amount that dead people have been in since 1996. 0.
Okay.
So, am I happy with their draft? Yes, but I know their history. They're going to do. I hope they don't. I hope I'm wrong. Hey, Dak's window is closing quickly. He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL history and hadn't done anything with it. But again, this didn't. I like Dak. I think
great guy.
I think he's a great guy. Since he's had all these injuries, I liked him better when he could get out and move around in the pocket a little bit. And they don't do that with him anymore, I guess, because they're just afraid of him getting hurt. But
yeah, he's a little
anyway,
statuesque in the pocket, but
he
makes good decisions. He makes quick reads. I just can't put two and two together with him because they always seem to have a really good offense, and just I don't know. There's something missing there. Hopefully they figure it out. Because when the Cowboys are good,
I hope so.
The NFL's good, right? And I hate to admit that, but when the Cowboys are good, they're the Yankees. They're the Dodgers. Like they bring notoriety to the league and to the sport, and so it's hard to argue with that. But yeah.
I agree. I like Jared Allen. I've texted you before, I think, during games. I like Jared Allen. That dude's tough, man. He finds a way to get it done. I get it. He probably turns the ball over a little bit more than you'd like, but I just like the guy.
You talking about Josh Allen?
Y'all's quarterback.
Yeah, you said Jared, I believe.
Did I say Jared?
We'll have to run the tape back just to check. But, I'm obviously a big Josh Allen fan. I think he's a good guy, a quiet guy, humble guy. But he's got some tools. I'm interested to see, after him hobbling around a little bit in the playoffs last year, he didn't have the escapability. I think he got sacked most in his career last year. And, it's hard to tell if it was injury-based, which that's what I'm hearing. But when he's good, he improvises. He gets on the run, and he just makes incredible throws. But he's just a good human being. And once again, I know I'm biased, but
no, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he really is. There's a lot of stories coming out of Buffalo that most people don't know. That how he just supports the O'Shea Children's Hospital, and how even his neighbors are just regular people, and he sometimes will just hang out with regular people. And but he's off social media. He doesn't draw attention to himself. Just had a baby and. That goes back to.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, went back to Wyoming and got his jersey retired, and just a humble guy. So good for him.
Yeah, good dude. Like I said, he just gets it done. I mean, he's gonna find a way to get in the end zone. I like that. Anything else on the draft?
No, sir. Where's the draft next year? You know off the top of your head?
I do not know.
I thought I saw
Is
that.
It Nashville?
I bet some of our viewers know off the top of their head, but haven't looked
ahead.
Leave
us comments. Leave us comments. I'm gonna do a call to action at the end of this anyway. But leave us comments.
And would you go like Coach Kirb? I know that let's just say you're older than me. When you look at that crowd, right? When there's 300,000 people there, I almost think of Times Square, right? New Year's Eve. I always think like those people actually are. I think if I've read this correctly numerous times, they wear diapers because they don't want to lose their place. They don't want to lose their place to go to the bathroom, and so they want to be on TV. Is that what they do at the draft? Do people just?
I haven't heard that story, but okay. I wouldn't doubt it.
You can fact check me on that. After
I'm
the show.
Google that. I'm googling that tomorrow and seeing if that's. I might Google that tonight. I might.
Sorry
Google
about
that.
I just don't feel like that's. I'm of the age where I could just stand there for however many hours, and maybe. Quench my thirst and not have to leave. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's for another show. Sorry about that.
Oh man, that's funny. I hadn't heard that one. If that's true, that's pretty hilarious. All right, well, let's move on. We had a couple. We need to move on. Let's go to the NBA playoffs.
Thunder.
It's the Thunder Invitational. They're going to win the whole thing again. I don't even know why they're playing these games, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't ever say my team is going to win it just because of my track record. Just for instance, hey, the Jays are going to win the World Series last year, and there was probably about 3 times they probably should have won it. Had a bad break at third base, play at the plate.
I was pulling for them.
Man, and so I don't ever take that stretch, but I'll be honest with you, it's impressive to watch them play because they're all committed to the defensive end. And I know some people who aren't Thunder fans say, they foul too much, Well, they do. They try to see where the line is every game. And the officials, they make them blow their whistle. And when they blow their whistle, they'll know where that line is. But until then, they're in people's face. They're in their shorts. But it's kind of fun to see paid professional athletes, well-paid professional athletes, give it up on the defensive end because we've seen so much in the NBA that doesn't happen everywhere. And so, and we didn't even talk about the offensive side yet. I just love how connected they are on defense. And offensively, something bogs down. Let's just give it to 2. He's not bad. He's not bad. But here's the other thing about the Thunder. You know this. They're so deep. Like they've got Cason Wallace, AJ Mitchell. They could start on, I would say, over half NBA teams in the league, and they're coming off our bench. And it's just so nice to have that. And Sam Presti, of course. I mean, they got a lottery pick this year. They got a lottery pick already next year. That's ridiculous.
Isn't that something?
It's just ridiculous. But if they lose, I'm going to say if they lose, if let's just say Western Conference Finals, tell you what, I'm going to turn that over to you. If they lose in the Western Conference, who's it to?
San Antonio.
Probably.
I think San Antonio, that was kind of the thorn in their side, at least early in the year.
Yeah.
I know they,
Yeah.
of course, several years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they couldn't beat the Mavericks. And then Mavericks got them in the championship series, in the Western Conference Final, not championship, Western Conference Finals. But I hope that's not their team. I mean, obviously my whole family's Thunder fans except me. I got a lot of friends that are Thunder fans, and I think it's awesome. I mean, their games, I've never been to a home game, but you can tell on TV the atmosphere there is just unbelievable. It's unreal.
It's a big deal. And I think I agree with you, although Denver, man, Denver is just Denver. They're so good. I know they're down 3-2, but I would not be surprised if they go ahead and flip the script and win that and get to see the Spurs. But the Spurs are young. They don't know any better, and they've got that 7-12 kid. And there's something about having a young man on your team like that just changes a lot of things. But they were 4 or 5 against the Thunder this year, and so I would not be surprised if the Thunder happen to get past the Lakers, who I believe that's who they're going to end up with, and then the Spurs. I'm still a little fearful of Boston. They're good. You know what I mean? Like
they are good. They are good.
Yeah, they're good. So there's my threat to the Thunder. I'm with you. Like, I'm a homer. That's my squad, but they're really good.
They are good. I mean, I can't deny that. I mean, it's just now. And Boston has the Sixers, and they staved off elimination last night. I think Embiid went off. He went like 33, 34 points against them, but they'll probably finish him off tomorrow night when they play.
Yeah.
But, the Thunder, they took care of the Suns. They blew through them, and they'll probably get the Lakers next, right? Because they're 3-1 on Houston playing. We're recording this Wednesday night, so they're playing tonight.
Without Durant.
Well, let me say this the right way. Last night, because this is going to air on Thursday, the Lakers played last night.
Good work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get in this. I'm new at this, so trying to.
Yeah, it should be the Lakers. I don't know anything about Doncic as far as his timetable. I know Austin Reeves is about to come back. Austin Reeves, former Sooner.
And former Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic. Thank you, Nico.
Still bitter. It sounds like you're still bitter.
I'm still bitter.
Okay.
I'm still bitter.
Should be.
Well, we did get – I've drawn a blank on his name. I put it out of my head. The guy we traded him for.
Oh.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Mavericks don't have him anymore. They've already traded him. They traded for –
They dumped salaries, what they did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we did have Cooper Flagg, who is the Rookie of the Year, and he's going to be really good.
I like him.
He is good. He is good. But, ordinarily right now we might – since you talked Thunder, I would ordinarily could jump into talking Mavericks playoff talk, but we'll just skip right past that.
Well, the difference between them being in the playoffs and not is Kyrie Irving, obviously. And, Kyrie is the most skilled player maybe that I've ever seen. He's that skilled. What is he like in the locker room? I don't know. You've heard stories, but I think he likes being in Dallas. He loved playing with Luka, and I think he likes the idea of playing with Cooper Flagg too. So when he gets back and healthy, he still has several years left. But
I'm glad they didn't rush. I'm glad they didn't rush him back.
Correct.
I'm glad they didn't try to get him back. There's no need. I mean, I was thinking, we can sit and break down one of the Mavericks' 57 losses this year if you wanted to, but we don't really need to do that.
Pass.
But
pass.
Yeah. But if they get Kyrie back healthy, 100%, they're going to be better next year.
Yeah. They have to be.
They fired Nico, so Nico was it was pretty rough around here. Anybody that lives here knows.
That's fact.
Some of the other, like I said, Lakers, I'm quite sure wrapped up their series last night. But the Sixers.
Oh, good foreshadowing right there, Coach Kirb.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was
absolutely. Anything else on the eastern side? We talked about that. The Knicks.
You know what? Here's
Knicks,
some
Hawks,
people
Game 6.
Yeah, you're right. And here's my take on, I guess, a dark horse out there is the Magic. Now, the Magic, they made the AFC. They made the Eastern Conference semis last year, and they were trending up with Banchero. You have Moritz Wagner. You have Jalen Suggs running the point. And this year, I don't know, it didn't seem whatever. You know what I mean? And then now you look, and they've got a 3-1 advantage on a team that many said, no, that's they're not going to win that one. And so while some people are surprised at that, it's maybe not as surprising to see what the Magic have been able to do. And they still got to close it out. Easier said than done.
Right.
But they got to close that thing out because, just like in any playoff series in any sport, you give somebody Big Mo and things can snowball on you. But the Magic have been they've been fun to watch and they've been impressive because they play both ends on the floor as well.
Right. I was checking the Pistons. Pistons are up 9 late fourth quarter right now, so it looks like they're gonna get it to 3-2.
There we go.
Wouldn't shock me if they came back from 3-1 and won that because
not at all.
They won 60 games this year for a reason. They're good.
That's true.
They're good. But yeah, that's going on tonight, and then of course the Lakers play tonight as well. Last night, excuse me. I need to quit doing that.
That's okay. It's okay.
Obviously, I put to discuss who's going to. The favorite to win the title. Is that even need to be discussed, really?
We can just move on. I think Vegas agrees with us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, if you have any comments out there, like, what are we missing? Like, what's the Achilles heel for the Thunder? Go ahead and throw that in the comments because.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
They don't. Yeah. Good luck, people finding that because.
And that's coming from a non-Thunder fan. Like, I'm a homer. Kirby is not a Thunder fan.
I'm not a Thunder fan. I'm not going to say I don't like them, but people you're from Oklahoma. Why don't you like the Thunder? Because I was a Mavericks fan forever. I'm not. That's just I hope that I'm happy for the Thunder. I'm happy I'm happy for Oklahoma City. I'm happy for the state of Oklahoma. That's my home.
Yep.
But I'm a Mavericks fan. I will always be. Now they tested me when they traded Luka. I'm not going to lie. That was a test, and if they would have not drafted Cooper Flagg when they won that lottery, people can say the lottery was rigged and all that. I don't care. They got him. I don't care how they got him. They got him. So,
it would have looked real bleak if they didn't end up with Cooper Flagg. Like it was, you would be feeling a whole lot different. There would be little optimism in your voice if Cooper Flagg was not a Maverick. So, fortune, whatever you want to call it. Good for them. We can kind of start turning the page a little bit, but it's going to take Mavericks fans a little bit longer to forget about what happened with Luka.
Well, the Mavericks were the Mavericks were 25-57 this year with Cooper Flagg. Imagine if they don't draft Cooper Flagg.
Oh, for sure.
It would be back to the year the Mavericks lost 71 games back in the early 80s or mid 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe early 90s. But no, as far as title favorite discussion, let's put it this way, we're doing bold predictions later. My bold prediction is not going to be that the Mavericks or the Thunder's not going to win the title. That's
okay, so that's not a bold prediction. Okay.
No. Actually, that wouldn't apply anyway because we're just doing week to week. So
that's fair. That's true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Now, current sports going on. My Rangers won today.
Well,
the Rangers shut out the Yankees.
Yeah, and I think we hit on this a little bit off camera. 1 o'clock afternoon game. The Yankees are traveling afterward. There's no batting practice on day games, and so you're going
to bust my bubble here, aren't you?
Yeah. No. Somebody still has to win the game, right? And Evaldi was shoving, and the Rangers scratched enough runs. But I always know, like, to me, like, those are games because I always like to take my kid out of school and maybe go sneak into a Rangers game, once or twice a year. And I always hit that Wednesday, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock game.
Yep.
Leave the seventh inning. I'm home before the 5 o'clock traffic hits. But those typically are low scoring kind of pitchers things, and so anyway, today was no different. But yeah, I'm a little. Well, I shouldn't be. The Rangers are actually not bad. They are not bad, and so don't feel surprised that because aren't they they're above 500, right?
No,
are they not?
They are I wrote it down. They are 15-16 with the win today.
Oh, close enough. Come on.
Well, I know, but
good. I get you.
Yeah, they're fifth, but the West is a mess right now. I mean, they're only like a game out of first at 15-16 behind the A's of all people, the Sacramento A's.
Yeah.
The team didn't have a home. But the Rangers, the pitching's been good. The relief pitching has been very good. Latz, who got the save today, was awesome. Uvalde went 7 shutout innings today against that lineup, which he looked like the Uvalde of 2023. Damn, 2023 was fun. Golly, I wish
that had to have been fun.
But oh man, it was awesome.
That had to have been fun. I know nobody cares at all, especially ones watching this. But the Blue Jays did win 8-1 today on their travel day. So, but there's some prizes out there, and one of those may be the Jays because defending AL champs, and they had a great run last year. But just like everybody, there's some injuries out there. There's some starting pitching that not good. Max Scherzer just went down, but they just got Trey Yusavage back, and he was an absolute stud in the playoffs last year. He pitched yesterday and went 7 shutout innings, and so but he's still considered a rookie. But if you look at the current standings, like there's a couple teams out there. It's like, and I'll start with the Pirates. Like I'm kind of a closet Pirates fan, not big obviously, but just because they're kind of an underdog. They don't spend money. They trade away their studs. But then they signed Connor Griffin to this unheard of, contract, that stud shortstop. I think is he still 19? Do you know Coach Kirb?
I believe he's turned 20. I think he's turned 20.
So he's 20.
But still.
Right. And then you got Paul Skeens, and it's almost like, man, if I lived in Pittsburgh, I'd head to some games because if you've ever been to a Pittsburgh Pirates game, it's a mortuary, man. So good for Pittsburgh for having a competitive team, but also the willingness to spend some money. So good for them on that. In the National League, I was looking at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's, not too bad. They
swept the Rangers.
Swept the Rangers. So. The Cubs and the Reds are sitting atop the NL Central. And so, of course, the Dodgers. When you spend $8 billion on your roster, which, hey, first of all, good for them. I saw that they were number one as far as spending goes. I think the Yankees were 2. The Jays were actually 4. Kind of surprisingly, but it helps when you have your own network. But the Yankees are going to be there, right? We know that. The Dodgers are going to be there, and so I'd like to see one of these kind of teams that hasn't really done much in the past 5-10 years sneak up there, because that's always exciting just for a baseball guy. Like I consider myself a baseball guy, just a fan of the sport. So that would be kind of fun if they could hold on, because you get towards that trade deadline, right? Mm-hmm. After the All-Star game, and you're still in it, it'd be kind of cool to see the Pirates pick up a bat, right? Or maybe a bat and an arm, just to say, hey, we're in. And that town will turn out for the Pirates.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they've been waiting for the Pirates to be any good, of course, and the Steelers, but no offense, Steeler fans. What are your thoughts? MLB?
Steeler fans will be fine. They'll be fine.
Okay. That's true. That's true.
I got a couple of family members that are Steeler fans, so I hope they watch this. My cousin. Hey, Kelly. She loves her some Steelers, but she'll like that shout out I just gave her. On the Rangers, they're pitched. DeGrom pitched great last night. They lost. He's getting 0 run support. They're not hitting the ball right now. Josh Young is the only one that's hitting the ball. He's hitting 317 after today. Drove in 2 of their 3 runs, but Seager's at 217. Just on down the line. Langford's been hurt. They're hoping to get him back on this next road trip, where they go to Detroit and Yankee Stadium. Man, I would love to go there sometime. But if their hitting can come around, they do have a chance to. If they go on a winning streak right now, they're going to pull away in that division.
Yes,
I'm getting great joy in the fact that the Astros are like 12-19. Obviously, if you're a Ranger fan, you can't stand the Astros, and that's me.
You sound petty. And I'm all for it. You talk about the commissioner of the NFL getting booed all the time. I think the Astros get booed every time they go into a game. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing at the Vatican, and the Pope would boo them, I think.
I think you're right. And that's coming from a Catholic.
Yeah, that's true.
100%.
Yeah, he's a White Sox fan, but even if it was not an American Pope, he would still
boo. Trash can. He'd be
Yes.
on the trash can to make fun of him.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I forgot the Pope is a White Sox fan.
He is.
I forgot about that. But boy, the White Sox, you haven't heard anything from them, and I know nothing about them.
Hey, the buzz coming from the White Sox, and it might be the only thing, is the Japanese star who's hit his 12th home run yesterday. Kind of cool, right? They kind of give him a little bit of relevance, right? All the attention in that town goes to the north side, and rightfully so. But the White Sox are, if they can put one together, because you remember not so long ago, they did some damage, and they drew some fans, and it was a fun place to go watch a game. So they just don't do enough year in, year out to get a sustained fan base. You know what I mean? So, but I forgot, and my apologies to the experts out there, but the Japanese star who the White Sox picked up, man, I love watching him swing it, man. He does not get cheated.
I did see a couple of balls that he hit out. Man, he gets a hold of. I don't think I could even pronounce his name, but.
Reminds me of like a left-handed Spencer Braggs. You know what I mean? Like back in the day. Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Spencer could swing it. Love you, Spencer. So we talked about the Dodgers and the Yankees. That's probably you got to consider them the favorites, right? In each league.
Yeah, because they're still not done buying. That's the thing is we talked about trade deadline. Like if they're missing 2 or 3 players or people are hurt or whatever, hey, I'll just go out and take a few more from some other team because pockets are endless there in the major league. Financial situation. They got a lot more leverage to outspend and not get penalized for it. And so those clubs, they do it, and you got to just tip your hat to them. There was a time where I was a little bitter, like, well, they should be the best team because they spend the most money, but they just want they want to win, and they want their fan base to be excited. And so the more fans buy tickets and buy their merchandise and tune into their games, the more money. And so it comes in a cycle. And I've kind of come off that little perch of mine that I used to be a little bitter about.
Yeah, I mean, you still got to get out there and get it done. I don't care how much. I see teams just spend out the butt, and I mean the Rangers the year before they won the World Series, Rangers lost almost 100 games, and they had Simeon, and they brought in Bruce Bochy, and I think he made all the difference in the world. But you know who the first team I saw the other day? You know who the first team to 20 wins was though?
Who? Tell me.
Atlanta Braves.
Oh, I forget about them.
I forget about them
rock
too.
Solid every year, though.
Every single year.
Every year they're rock solid, and that's been happening since the '90s, as you know. So, I don't. Yeah. And speaking of money, by the way, I mean, 2 teams that spend a lot of money are the Phillies and the Red Sox. And what did they just do? You're not. I mean, they both just fired their managers. Like Joey Cora just got axed, and the Phillies got rid of theirs too. Like there's not patience in.
I didn't know the Phillies fired theirs. I knew Joey Cora got fired.
But yeah, there's not a lot of patience in Philly and Boston when it comes to we got all this money invested, and we won't put butts in the seats, and you're 11-19 or whatever it is that Boston is, and they just said, hey, we're done with that. Man. So,
you ever been to Fenway?
No, sir.
I'd like to go. I'd like to go sometime.
Yep. My brother went on a 4th of July game a few years back, and apparently it was awesome. So,
wow. Anything else on baseball?
Man, I don't think so. I don't think so. Still a little early, but we can revisit this in another couple episodes.
We'll talk baseball every week because in baseball, you never know what's going to happen week to week.
That's right.
How about get a little OSU sports there, Bergie?
Oh, wow.
We're to the college part now.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start real quick with baseball. And I've seen both teams. I've seen OU and OSU. I've seen the rosters and just watched them play. And I actually have some insider information there. Early on in February, I got a scout that told me that he's been to both teams' practices and felt like OU had much more talent. And those are not my words. Had much more talent, which think about what I just said. Like OSU, there was a time where it was considered one of the top 3 or 4 baseball programs in the country, and that was without question. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. I know OU is fantastic. I know they're solid. I know there's, the SEC is a stronger league. And so, but they had some dudes last year that went highly drafted, and looks like they may have a similar situation coming up this year. With the Pokes, man, there is some talent. They can hit. They got a young man from Otoka, plays center field for him, and he is a dude. He's like third or fourth in the country in home runs.
Wow.
They've lost some arms though, and that's been kind of the word on social media through the pokes, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or wherever, or Slapface. From now on, I'll call it Slapface. And what that means, Coach, is every social media page just kind of goes into one category. We'll call it Slapface, okay?
Okay.
Or Snapface.
That could be the word we use. So
Yeah,
we use
Snapface.
the word for this show. Okay.
Yeah.
like
They've
that.
lost some arms, so I don't know if they have the pitching depth to do some damage in the playoffs. But they are actually, at last check, one of the last 4 teams in, according to I believe it's Collegiate Baseball or ESPN Baseball. I don't know which one, but man, like that's a sleeping giant up there in Stillwater. As you know, that brand new facility. And I say brand new, it's not brand new, but it is remarkable. It's just, we got to get students to show up, and we got to get a reason for the novice fan to buy a ticket and show up to O'Brate Stadium, because when they're good, that'll be a really cool home field advantage. But when they're just kind of 500 in the Big 12, which they are, it's, and they had to sweep at Tech this past weekend just to get to 500. So I believe they're 1 game over, and they've had some good wins. That's the thing; they had some midweek wins.
I know one they had
1-1 in Tulsa against the Crimson and Cream, which I actually didn't see that coming. Now, it was rain shortened, so you never know. Maybe the Sooners just ran out of time, but that was a 7-3 game going in at the bottom of the 7th when the rain called it. But they got Dallas Baptist as number this year, and Dallas Baptist.
I appreciate you saying that, by the way. I appreciate you saying that, throwing that in, that maybe it was rain shortened. So
there we go. We'll just call it rain shortened. So it's not a loss; it just ran out of time. But no, they've got some signature wins. It's just they can't even get out of their own way in the Big 12, and which, hey, I get it. Every year there's something like Kansas. Kansas, by the way, is really good this year in baseball, which feels like an oxymoron there. So, what's your take on the Sooners?
Believe it or not, with Skip Johnson being the coach, the pitching is what's been kind of their question mark. It's been really, they've just been, as a whole, been really inconsistent with the bats. Love Jackson Willits, that dude. He had the Oklahoma State game you were just talking about. It's 7-0, and he hits a 3-run homer. It was actually the 8th inning when it got rain shortened. So,
okay.
And they had a guy on after that, and then the rains came, and then, but I don't know, you can't tell. But anyway, the guy from Canada, Dayton LaChance, is their catcher. He plays a little first base. He came from Quebec, Canada. Took him half the season to hit a home run, but he's hit like 5 or 6 since then. He hit 2 at Dallas Baptist. They're just the pitching's been inconsistent, which in the Skip Johnson years, that's been their forte, is pitching.
So they hang their hat on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But at the Texas series, they lost. They got run ruled game 1. In games 2 and 3, they had leads, and bullpen couldn't hold it. Texas came back and won on walk-offs on Saturday and Sunday. I know there's Longhorn fans watching this, so.
Oh, nice.
I know, yeah. Well, so I'm sure this made Joe's night by saying that, but he just inconsistent. That's bugging me.
Yeah.
Because I know they're better, especially offensively. Yep. Kyle Branch, I think, is the best second baseman in college baseball. That dude made 4 plays on Saturday at Auburn that as good as any major league, including the one that in the game. He's going, it dives up the middle, wheels, and throws it on his knee and throws the guy out at first and wondering, and they win it by 1. Yeah. So, they got to get more consistent. Bats got to be more consistent, and then same thing with the pitching. Same thing with the pitching.
And where this is headed, right? That now that they're not in the same league, there could very well be OU a 1 seed at the Norman Regional and OSU the 3 seed, and how cool would that be? That would be.
It's coming.
That would be cool. That's coming. If it's not this year, it'll be soon. But I'm looking forward to kind of make sure that Bedlam baseball rivalry is still alive and burning, because those are fun.
Yeah, and they need to bring it back in football. I mean, I joked about it earlier, but they need to bring it back. And right now, I think OU is a 2 seed. Is the last one. Is the one I saw Monday after the weekend. But they have 3 series left. They're Florida this week at home. Then they have Arkansas. They finished the year a 3-game series against Tennessee at Bricktown.
Oh, I didn't know they played at Bricktown. That's
cool. They're playing a 3-game series. They haven't played up there in a while. I would love to go up for that series, because that'll be a big series.
I gave up some really monster shots at Bricktown, so we'll have to just save that I mean, monster shots.
Yeah, we'll have to have
Jake Epstein from Missouri. If you're listening to this, you embarrassed me. You embarrassed my family, and I still have people that make fun of me for the bomb that you almost hit off the comedy club. I feel really good about myself. I rebounded, but it took me some time to get over that.
Well, we'll have to have a segment. One of maybe our next show, where we get into the summertime when there's not a lot going on.
Yeah,
we'll have to have a segment of. We might bring on like Spencer.
Yes.
We'll bring some people on during the summertime because there's not a lot going on other than just baseball.
Gotcha.
In the summertime to get ready for football season. Football gets here, man. This show's gonna be.
Yep.
Come off the rails.
Come off the rails a little bit, which is
absolutely. Good. What about OSU? I hear they had a spring game. Isn't
see,
right?
That's the thing. Herb is outside of Stillwater and the 13,000 people that reportedly showed up to the spring game, and it was a few weeks back. But yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it gives you an idea of, and we all know this, right? Gundy gets fired, and I don't know where he is, what he's doing. I know he's got a $7+ million house that I don't know if it's still on the market. I don't know who's going to buy that in Stillwater. You know who could buy it? Victor Hovland. He loves Stillwater, the PGA golfer.
Okay.
He still lives, and I'm not saying he's going to, but as far as the number of people that can afford that type of property in Stillwater, there's not very many. Anyway, so Gundy's gone, obviously, and you bring in Eric Morris, and what he did at UNT, good for him. Like, that's impressive. What they did at a school that, I know we're in the NIL era, and it's easy to turn around, but he put it together, and he made it happen. So he leaves. He brings 17 players and a lot of his coaches to Stillwater. And so, looking at some stats from last year, it looked like UNT, they were one of the faster offenses, in college football. And that doesn't necessarily equate to success. In fact, they were 12-2, but their average get off, from the end of the play to snapping the ball was probably, I think, top 8 or 9 in the country. But the other 8 or 9 ahead of them were all like 500 or worse. So it doesn't necessarily mean what it used to mean, because back when OSU was running as fast as anybody in the country, they were really good. But I think defenses have caught up to it, and so it'd be interesting to see how tempo looks up there in Stillwater. But Mestamaker first, Drew Mestamaker, quarterback from who's now at OSU, and forgive me if I keep saying UNT. He obviously started the game, and I think he called an audible first play, went big ball deep. Cameron Epps has intercepted it, and that was the flaw for the game for Mestamaker. Good play by Epps on that ball, but he ended up 12 of 20, 260, 3 tutties. Threw the ball well. It's not he doesn't throw from up top. He kind of throws a little bit 3/4, but he's got some zip on the ball, and he's a big kid. And if you remember, that kid, I don't even think played varsity football. I think he was on the bench his whole career. And next thing you know, I think, was it down in Austin? Was it like Westlake or Lake Travis or something like that? May have to do some digging on that. But they're big three from UNT.
It was Austin somewhere.
Yeah, they're big three at UNT. Caleb Hawkins, the running back. By the way, from Shawnee, went to North Rock Creek High School. Do you know where that is in Shawnee?
No, I'm not real familiar with Shawnee.
I went down a rabbit hole. I was like, Caleb Hawkins, and he had like 1,434 yards last year, a bunch of tutties, and like 400 yards receiving too. He was really good. But I was like, Shawnee? I thought it was Shawnee High School, right? The Wolves. But North Rock Creek apparently is a 100% online school in Shawnee.
Is it so it's separate from Shawnee High School?
Yes, sir. Yes, so they have their own team. I think they have their own team, I believe. So that's where he came anyway. So he's gonna carry the mail for the Pokes, and they got Wyatt Young as kind of their top receiver at UNT. He's now with the Pokes, and so they've got their big three. He had a 38-yard touchdown reception as well. Wyatt Young did. So there was a young man who 2 years ago was at Wake Forest as a freshman. And you know this. Tell the fans, Coach Kirb, about North Shore High School, Galena Park North Shore.
The team that plays Duncanville about every year in the 6A finals, they have so many athletes. Man, they're good.
Good. This young man, his name is Chris Barnes. He did go to North Shore. He went to Wake Forest his freshman year.
I've seen him play in the championship game before.
There you go.
I remember the name. There
you go.
Yeah,
he redshirts at Washington State last year. Don't know what happened. Now he's at OSU, and he had a 98-yard touchdown catch and reception. And he's not a big kid, but he is quick.
Oh,
and
man.
he caught that ball and he just, boom, took it up a seam, and there was nobody even remotely, catching him. So, Skylar Cassidy, the defensive coordinator, I think the talk of the spring actually has been their defensive front, interestingly enough. I think their edges are getting to the quarterback a lot more than I know that Coach Morris is wanting. But where OSU is coming from, I guess any talk about OSU is probably positive, because I don't know how many games I made it much past halfway through the second quarter last year. It was that bad, and it has been that bad. I mean, Tulsa came in and just abused OSU, and nothing against Tulsa, but their coach. I think they even got a new coach, and his first words out his mouth was beating OSU's blank again. And I'm just like, man, how far have we fallen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We open at Tulsa, and then I believe the old Oregon Ducks come to town. So that'll be a good early test to see if the Pokes are real or if they're at least on the right trajectory.
Yeah, you hope they can give them a game. I mean, they didn't give them a game in Eugene last year at all. That was rough. That was rough as a Sooner fan watching that. That was rough. That was hard to watch.
It was cringy.
It was. Isn't that the game that got Gundy? Isn't that the last? Wasn't that Gundy's last one, or did he coach another one after that?
Was it that? I think you might be right. Is that their second or third game? So that was their second one.
It was. Well, no, they won their first one. Then Tulsa was the second one, wasn't it? I don't know
what. I don't know. Like, you can tell, and I'm a Poke. Like, that's my school. That's my family still lives there. My mom lives there. But for me to lose interest, like,
yeah, that'd be like me.
I used to know everything about that squad, and not just in football, but basketball, baseball, wrestling. Like, a huge wrestling fan. Like, I don't know. I think I represent a lot of Cowboy fans, and it's like, this is it. We spent all this time and effort and coaching and practice time and put that on the field. I know Haas Haney, by the way, is going to Colorado State. Watch that kid. That kid was the quarterback for OSU for like a quarter and a half. He came from Aledo, and you know anything about Aledo High School.
Yeah,
they got some dudes, and they have a structure, and they have a system, and they dominate. They just win. And
they just win. Yep.
Haas Haney got to Stillwater. He was at TCU before that. Got hurt like early, like game 2 or 3, and he's done for the year. And at that point I realized, yeah, we're done. But I didn't realize like how done we would be. So Haney took his talents to Colorado State, and I would not be surprised, if I'm sitting there on a couch at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night watching late night whack football or and seeing Haas Haney put some numbers up. So I hope that kid has some good success, because by all accounts he's a good young man.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I do on Saturdays. That's my thing. 11 a.m. till midnight, I'm watching college football sitting right there in that chair, and having a lemonade or two with it, probably.
America. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else or OSU sports? Softball? You going to talk about them beating the Sooners a couple weeks ago?
All credit to Ruby Milan. Ruby Milan's our pitcher. They're our number one, our ace, and she's gotten real hot.
She was good that night.
She was good that night, and it's not like she strikes out everybody. You talk about softball. A lot of times those dominant pitchers, they're just blowing it past people, right? And you remember like Jordy Ball, who's now at Nebraska. But a lot of those aces, they were just punching people out. That's not Ruby Milan. She pitches to soft contact. She knows how to move the ball, to change locations, to change speeds, and it's just like a lot of nubbers and weak pop ups and I think she had 3 punch-outs against the Sooners, and that might be the best lineup I've ever seen, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, every once in a while you just got to tip your hat to the pitcher, and we'll see if they hook up later on down the year. That may look a little bit different, but OSU softball is starting to pick things up a little bit. I know there were some early grumbles, but I don't they may not make it to the Women's College World Series, but that's, yes, that is something that we expect to do just because we've done it several times the past few years. But if there's a once-off, that's okay, because it sounds like the NIL money is going to cowgirl basketball. I think they spent over $5 million on all these these new players coming in, because most of their roster left on a pretty good team. Like got second round, lost to UCLA, who ended up winning the whole thing. Since lost some really good players, they bring back Staley Hurd. They're probably their best offensive player, and then they they pulled in some girls. They got that Audie Crooks from Iowa State, that they're big, post player, and the rumor is she got $1.4 million. And I'm looking around like,
Goodness
1.4
Where
women's
is that
basketball
coming from?
in Stillwater, and so they pulled a kid from Florida. They averaged 22 a game. They got a kid from somewhere, I forgot where she came from, averaged 16 a game. So they reloaded, and it just shows you what NIL can do for you in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Oh, well, look what it did for Indiana.
Good point.
Of course, bringing in Sig was a big deal, but man.
Hey,
They
Google
turned
me.
it around.
Google me.
Yeah, Google me. That's right. I'm going to start using that. Just Google me.
Yeah.
You know where the OSU softball coach went to school, right? Went to college.
He went to OU. Played baseball.
I know. No, I know. I was just saying.
Yeah.
Played on the national championship team in '94.
That's right. 94. Bucky Buckles.
Bucky Buckles, Larry Koshel, and the Minor brothers.
The Minor brothers. Hey, and rest in peace.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yep.
Good, two good dudes. I'll hit real quick on just the OU spring game for my
Go for it.
appease my OU people. I mean, newsflash: the OU defense is pretty good.
I'm not surprised.
They're pretty good. No, it's unbelievable how good that they're going to be. And then I think I did a quick hit on ESPN, said that I don't know if you saw that one or not, that I put out there. The ESPN put out a deal. The weakness of the OU football team is the inexperience on defense.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some expert analysis there, Coach Kirb.
Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? I could see inexperience is maybe the weakness of the defense, but don't say that's the weakness of the football team. But they're good. I don't need to say a lot about them. They're flying. David Stone, Jaden Jackson didn't even play, but their front seven is so freaking good. Getting Owen Heineke back helps. The linebackers are a little thin without him. Of course, now, don't get me started on the NCAA. People have been seeing my clips.
Yep.
They've appealed the ruling that came down a couple weeks ago, and when they appealed it, they filed the wrong paperwork in all their wisdom.
I don't believe it.
Yep. So now they have till May 11th. But anyway, I don't want to get off on that again. Anyway, their defense is going to be good all across the board. Offensively, I liked the stuff that they're doing in the running game. The tight end room is so much better. But they brought in Beers and one guy, I can't pronounce his name, and then Hayden Hansen. Those three guys are good. They can all block. They threw a couple of passes to Rocky Beers, who's Reagan Beers' brother, who played on the women's team. They're doing more outside zone stuff, which I love, and you can't do that if you don't have a tight end that can block. And Jared Kanek, great story, got drafted, I think, by the Colts. The Titans, and that's a great story. He was a staying linebacker, played tight end 1 year, and he gets drafted. And but we'll talk about that another. Probably should talk about that when we talk about the draft. But Mateer looked really good. I get it. They were playing it was the good against the bad, not the bad.
The
second
twos.
team guys.
Yeah,
the twos. But still, you still got to go out there and get it done. And Mateer he was like 12 of 18 for 195 in the spring game, threw a touchdown pass. And I hope the running back looked good, the running game looked good. I'm hoping Mateer doesn't have to do it all like he did last year. He carried the ball 19 times against Michigan last year. You can't do that in the SEC with your quarterback.
Nope.
No way. You just can't do it. And I don't think he's going to have to. Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock didn't play in the spring game. They're both nursing injuries. Probably just held them out. But the three guys that they played, they all ran it well. I feel good about the offense. I mean, the running game at OU is a big deal. Historically it is. And I've hated, as an old line coach, I hated that they haven't been able to run the football. So I'm hoping that turns this year.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
No, by
We'll
all,
see.
as an outsider, yes, their defense is always menacing. And I even heard, when they first got to the SEC, they're not ready. They're not ready. Guys, they were ready. They were ready that first year. Talent-wise, defensively, Mateer is I'm not going to say a Josh Allen, but he plays that way, kind of that fearlessness. And but you got to be careful, like you said, to expose yourself to those man-child or man-children, I guess, that play on the in the SEC. he's got to live to see another down. He's got to know when to just go ahead and go to the ground and run out of bounds, or just throw it out of bounds, because you're just not going to score 40, 45 points a game in the SEC. But Mateer's good enough to, late in the game, to take his team on his back and drive them down the field by just making play after play. And that's when maybe you can take a little bit more risks on your feet, when you're tied, or maybe trying to milk a game 4-minute offense, or maybe even down, a couple points. He will do that when he needs to. But, yeah, him being hurt, just like anybody, but especially for OU, we don't want to experience what that looks like if he can't play.
Yeah, the lack of a running game it gave him the mindset, well, I've got to do it all. I've got to make plays. I've got to throw balls I don't want to throw, but he threw some interceptions. The pick six he threw against Alabama, that was all him. That was I don't know. I still can't explain it, but I think they're going to have a running game. The offensive line, I think, has a chance to be the best one they've had in several years. The guys that they brought in the portal. Fasusi's going to be playing on Sundays.
Yep.
And he's that good. I didn't single out any defensive players because there's no need to. Taylor Wine, obviously Heineke, Kip Lewis, but I didn't talk about the receivers. They're Satania and the guy they got from I'm not even going to go there because I can't remember his name. That's what happens when you get old. You start losing.
Absolutely.
Can't remember names, but anyway, they've got to take the pressure off of him, and the run game can do that, and hopefully that continues. But
it should be a fun season, though. I don't openly or actively root for OU. I do know the impact that university and that team has on my home state of Oklahoma, so there is a little bit of a soft spot there. But hey, fun fact: are you ready for this, Coach Kirb?
Yes.
1946. Okay, Didn't Wilkinson get there in 47? 1946.
47 to 63.
That's right. 1946. There was a player named DeRoy Bergman who played for the University of Oklahoma. And you don't even know this because I haven't told you, but that's my granddad. And he actually transferred to Oklahoma City University, who had a football team, I think the year after. But he played a year in the Crimson and Cream right before Wilkinson got there. How about that? What do you think about that little nugget?
Wow, that is awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. You've known this the whole time, and you're just not telling me this?
Coach Kirb, I try to sleep on some things. I got
you knew at some point we were going to do a podcast in 2026.
Right. Yeah.
You wanted to spring it on in.
I brought that out of the quiver, man, and I fired that thing, and I think you kind of like that little nugget.
I do. That's awesome. Do you have a little crimson blood in you somewhere?
Oh, hey, it gets worse. You want to hear my other little connection?
Yeah, go for it.
My mom was pregnant with me in 1976, and there was a player on OU's team, and she loved the name. His name was Grant Burgett. And some of you Sooner fans, some of you Sooner fans, that Grant was a good player. But I don't know. My mom's, obviously my family is sports junkies, and she liked the name, and so she named me Grant. Not necessarily after the OU football player. She just liked the ring and maybe how it flowed off the tongue. I don't know. But when I was growing up in Lawton, Oklahoma, I didn't really share type of information like that because I was orange and black, and I was fighting an uphill battle in every scenario. But I'm not afraid. In fact, I'm proud to share that nugget with you, to connect me with the followers and the subscribers to the old Coach Kirby Sports Report.
Well, there's actually, I have two nuggets on that. One is a compliment to you. I'll get that in a second. The Grant Burgett one, I'm fixing to date myself. This was 1970, what, six?
Six, I believe. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's when I was born. And actually, that week is when OSU beat OU. And remember, that used to not happen ever. And so when OSU beat OU that week I was born, and then we didn't beat OU again for, I don't know, 20. I don't know how long it was until they beat them again, but it was a long time. Trust me. I think Burgett was on that team.
You just gave me my third nugget. The game you just talked about, 1976, I was at.
No, you were not. That's Terry Miller. Terry Miller.
Terry Miller went 71 on like the third play of the game against us.
Wasn't he runner-up or third place in the Heisman that year?
He was runner-up to Earl Campbell.
That's right. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That was 77. 77's year he was runner-up. But 76, he went 71 against the Sooners. Third play of the game, 31-24. Yeah, I remember it well. But the second nugget, Grant Bergie in this was 76. Well, in 1973, I think would have been probably his sophomore year at OU. Was Barry Switcher's first year at OU.
That's right.
First game of the year, OU travels to Waco. We went down there for it. Grant Bergie gets hurt and he's out for the year.
Really?
Gets hurt for the year, and because everybody wore number 25. Yeah, I can't remember what I had for lunch today, but I can remember that.
Hey, that's a good nugget. I like that. That's a good one.
But anyway, I'm going to give Grant a compliment because Grant came over a lot of times to my parents' house. Red and Colleen Kirby, God rest her soul, miss them every day. He would come over on OU OSU was playing each other. He would be the only dude there wearing orange and black, and took a little abuse. And
that's fact.
Most
but you know
of
what?
the
That's how
time
much I loved your family. Seriously, in all honesty, that's how much I loved your family. Is I will take that from them. I won't take it from many people. I will take that from them because I just love being around you guys, and
we loved having you around.
But the one time every quarter century that OSU happened to win, I made sure to fire back, but it just didn't happen very often. So, whatever.
It was OSU. Yeah, obviously I grew up an OU fan, still always will be, but I always pulled for Grant. When he wore that orange and black, I pulled for him. But anyway, anything else on the college we'll hit on as we go through this summer. Like we said, we'll have to bring some old people, some of our friends online with us.
Let's do that.
We're going to do that. Grant's got an uncle that will come on with us, and we'll have to bring some guests on during the summer months. But, we got one more segment, and we're done. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Wow.
Sorry about that, guys. I hope nobody fell asleep on us. My fault, but we knew this could happen because you got two old boys that just want to talk sports. So my apologies for the 1 hour and 11 minutes here. We'll finish it up and get you guys back to normally scheduled programming.
Well, bold predictions. What we're going to do, we're going to do a bold prediction. We're going to have to stretch on this in the summertime, though. But we're going to be predicting baseball games, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to do some like live golf or something.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out. But anyway, both of us are going to make one prediction, what we think is going to happen between now and next week's show. And then we'll start the next week's, not start next week's. When we get to this segment, we'll talk about it, see if we were right, and then make the next one. So I'm giving you the honors on the first one.
Wow, I get to tee this one off, huh? All right, Coach Kirb. And Coach Kirb doesn't know this is coming, and Coach Kirb probably doesn't care this is coming. But my first, what are we calling this segment, by the way?
Bold predictions.
Bold predictions. All right, I like this.
Unless we come up with a better name later.
Okay, hey, we will take all suggestions on the bold predictions segment, so please throw that in the chat or the comments, and we will certainly take all ideas into account. I'm going to Kentucky on Saturday. I'm going for the Run for the Roses, Coach Kirb. Now, you're probably thinking, what in the world? Like, no.
Oh, I know exactly what it is.
I'm a little bit of a closet horse racing fan, and, of course, we have the annual Derby. And so get your caps and your mint juleps ready for another rendition of the Kentucky Derby. And I'm not an expert. Like, I just read the paper and the digital paper, and do a little bit of research. And sometimes I like to put a little funds on the outcome. And so I want to give you a little horse. You guys, I've got an 8-1 named Chief Wallaby. Chief Wallaby. If you want some easy money, that's going to be my suggestion, is open you up a little account or head to the nearest India casino and put some money on Chief Wallaby. 8-1 as of this morning. This horse has ran 3 times in its life, right? It's 1-1-1. It actually has lost by a neck, and it was charging on one of the favorites, the 6-1 horse Commandment. And you give it another, because that race is a mile and a 16th in Kentucky. And he beats him if it was a little bit longer. And he also lost, he lost to Commandment at Gulfstream at 6-1. He also lost, let me see who the other horse was.
I can't tell you how impressed I am right now at this.
No, it's okay. It's okay, because I'm trying to win our followers some money. You know what I mean? That's really where I'm headed.
Yeah.
But we're going to go Chief Wallaby. Fun fact about Chief Wallaby, although that horse has, he's got fresh legs, right? Ran in three races ever. He actually runs middle of the pack, and he's going to be a late charger. So heads up on the 12 horse. He's coming out of the 12 position. The actual favorite is coming out of the 1 position, which that's Renegade, by the way. Renegade's sitting at 4-1 as of this morning. But it's been 40 years since a horse has won from the 1 position. Apparently, that's a weird place to get maybe pinned up against the rails, and you can lose your gait along the rails. So not really liking the favorite there, especially coming out of that 1 post position. But Chief Wallaby, the jockey, his name is Junior Alvarado. Junior actually was riding Sovereignty last year when Sovereignty won the Kentucky Derby. So I like the experience. I like the success for my jockey. I like Chief Wallaby, mainly because it has a little indigenous, reference to it. He doesn't have Todd Pletcher or one of the other trainer who drugs up his horses, and he got banned, but now he's back. That's Bob Baffert. I will take Wallaby for the win, but if we're going to do a Quinella, and a Quinella is any top 2 horses, any order, I'm going to say Further Ado at 6-1 and Chief Wallaby in any order for some money. So wish me luck, guys, and I appreciate you listening to my bold prediction.
That is a tough fact. That is a tough act to follow. I don't even know if I could even tell. Mine's going to take like 12 seconds to do. And
maybe half of mine was like horse manure. Like, you never know. I can do that as well.
I got to do some more homework on my bold prediction. Goodness gracious.
You told me to have one ready, so I put one in the chamber, buddy.
You did. I came up with mine like today. My gosh. I'm ashamed. I should have given mine first. My bold prediction is NBA playoffs. We talked about the Celtics and the Sixers earlier. I think the Sixers are going to pull off an upset and beat the Celtics.
You mean in the whole, like in their, not just in one game? You think they're going to come back?
No. Wow. I think they're going to get it to Game 7. They're going to get it to Game 7. They're going to win tomorrow night. They're going to take it to Game 7, and I think Game 7 they're going to take them to the wire.
Really?
I'm not saying they're going to win it. I know that's not as detailed and not as in depth as your horse racing thing was, but
you know what it is? It's actually more bold, because you might be the only person that I've heard say that the Sixers are going to beat the Celtics in this series. So while it may not have the Christmas bells and whistles that my prediction had, it's more bold, and so I'm now even more intrigued to see the Sixers and the Celts on the floor to see if you're onto something.
Well, I'm impressed with Joel Embiid. I've always kind of liked when he was at Kansas, and I've always kind of liked the guy, and I think he's going to keep him in it one more game, and I think he's going to keep him in it. I don't think they'll win Game 7, but I think they're going to take it into the fourth. Now, which obviously means the Celtics are going to win by 20 tomorrow night. That's what that means, since I said that. So,
yeah, just like, hey, the Jays are going to win the World Series. Oh, yeah, I get you. And Embiid, his only thing, you're right, he's dominant. But his thing is his health. Like, he stays healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm with you. Like, it could happen.
Absolutely. Well, Grant, let's put a wrap on this one. You got any? It's been fun, man. This is going to be fun. Can't wait till the next one. It's going to be fun. Any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom?
No words of wisdom, because I'm not a wise person. But just wanted to tell you thank you again, and also your family, Robin, Jill, Christy, Matt, Spence. Love you guys. Miss you guys every day. Look forward to seeing and reconnecting with you at some point. If nothing else, this is one avenue which I feel like I get to be back there at 12 Northwest 55th and watching whatever we were watching on any given day. So anyway, I appreciate you, Coach Kirb, and I look forward to the next time.
Yep, me too. Well, that's it. I've enjoyed it. Like it, subscribe, leave comments. Ask us questions we can react to for next week's show. Give us content, because we're always looking for it, for content. But that's it for this one. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We will see you next week. He's Bergman. I'm Coach Kirb. This has been Off the Prairie with Bergie. We're out.